A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. That is the definition of nostalgia. We all know that, like, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And that's how I've always looked at nostalgia. I like nostalgic things, but I know that nostalgia is dangerous. Nostalgia hinders creativity. And I think that that is the reason why we are in this rut when it comes to Gen Z and millennials, as far as being creatively bankrupt. And a lot of times we like to focus and blame it on production companies in Hollywood and things like that. But I think millennials have really ushered this in, and it's largely due to us being obsessed with everything nostalgic. And I completely understand, because things do seem kind of grim. It doesn't seem like the future is getting any better. And so a lot of people are focusing on the past and things that used to make them happy, because things in present day don't make them happy and the future doesn't seem too bright. It seems like in the last decade or possibly more, we have been constantly inundated with remakes, reboots, live action adaptations, unnecessary sequels, blatant cash grabs from production companies. And I really feel like it's a lot of the millennials' fault. I really do. Me being a millennial, I do think that it's kind of our fault. At some point in the early stages of this nostalgic apocalypse that I believe millennials ushered in, a lot of us were delighted to see our childhoods brought back to present day in a new and innovative way, aided by technology like CGI and better graphics. But what started out as like an enjoyable blast from the past quickly became a standard once Hollywood production companies saw how profitable nostalgia was. Now it seems like we're constantly being inundated with live action remakes, reboots, sequels, movie adaptations, covers, samples, everything but something original. But as long as these projects continue to get support, whether positive or negative, it still counts as a view. Also, hate watching something just to review it and give it a negative review for your videos still counts as a view, and it still counts as support, even if you go on to state how much you hate it. And Hollywood has not shown any signs of stopping this anytime soon. This seems to be something that is here to stay. One thing that doesn't make sense to me when it comes to the reboots and the remakes is when they take something that was originally intended for someone who was a child in like the 90s or the early 2000s, who is now in their 30s. They don't take that show or idea and age it with that group to make it where it's now appropriate for like a 30-year-old. What they do is they take it because it was originally intended for kids and aim it at the new demographic of kids who have no idea what this is talking about, who have no ties to the show. And then when it flops and it doesn't do as well as they thought it was gonna do, they then blamed it on the children. No, it is your fault. It is nobody else's fault but yours, because you had the opportunity to give this, repackage this and give it back to who it was originally intended for, but you don't do that. And that is one thing that I don't see how people continuously miss that. This trend that, in my opinion, has not only worn out its welcome, but has also trickled over into the music industry. As of recently, JoJo Siwa has come under criticism for trying to pass off a song that is a cover, allegedly, as her own song that she wrote, when people have already found out that this has been a song for quite some time. It has been passed around to different people who have passed it up, and it landed on JoJo, and now she's allegedly saying that she wrote this herself. Unfortunately, this is not a new issue. In fact, some people don't see it as an issue at all, because in 2020 there was a girl by the name of Danielle Kahn who tried to pass off an Ashanti song as an original song that she made. And the song was Foolish, a very popular song that was, I believe, 2 times platinum and sold over 2 million units. And this girl is just trying to pass it off as her own. Now, we can all say that capitalism plays the biggest part in this, because a lot of production companies would rather just constantly hit at something old than to test out something new and fear of failing, that they won't get their money back. Also, it is up to us to not support people who blatantly take things from the past and reintroduce them to a new crowd without actually doing anything to make this extraordinary, to make it somehow better than the original, or bring it to a point to where you cannot even compare this to the original. And I know that this is probably going to be a hard topic for a lot of millennials and maybe even Gen Z to grapple with, especially the ones who deem themselves as like 90s babies, because if we're being honest, a lot of us later millennials as well as Gen Z, although you were born in the 90s, you really weren't mentally there because you were so young. Like me, born in 94. The best memories I have of the 90s is probably 1999, when I was like 5 years old. I don't remember 96, 97, 98. And most of us don't. So we honestly just need to let it go, because like it or not, you're getting old. And we have to stop looking to the past for a new sound. What is the sound? It feels like there isn't one. The sound is nostalgia.